Have you ever caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and felt like your hair color seemed to wash you out, or that it no longer matched the vibrancy you still feel inside? As the years roll by, many of us realize that our tried and true shades of hair dye don't always flatter the changes in our skin tone, natural hair texture, or the subtle shifts in our... It can be surprising. A color you wore effortlessly in your 40s might suddenly make you look pale or accentuate fine lines once you pass 60. The goal of maintaining a youthful and radiant look doesn't mean pretending you're someone you're not. It's about honoring the person you are now with a shade that works with your unique coloring, energy, and sense of self. In this conversation, we're going to discuss 4 hair colors that may inadvertently age you and 4 that can bring out your best glow instead. While there's no one-size-fits-all rule, these recommendations can serve as a guide for senior women who want to step into a more refreshed style without feeling like they've done anything overly drastic. You might be wondering why hair color suddenly starts to matter more as you get older. The truth is, it's partly a natural shift in skin undertones. Over time, skin can become thinner and sometimes more translucent, exposing underlying tones that weren't as visible before. Meanwhile, grays appear in your hair, changing your overall color palette. A hue that once highlighted the warmth in your complexion might now look overly brassy or dull. And it's not just about matching your skin's warmth or coolness. The relationship between hair color, eye color, and the blush in your cheeks all factor into whether your chosen shade flatters your appearance or emphasizes wrinkles and lines. This is why some seniors report feeling like a color they've had for decades has inexplicably turned on them, making them look more tired than they actually feel. If you're in that boat, it might be time to reevaluate your color choices and see whether a slight shift or a total refresh could be your path to a more radiant, revived look. Let's talk first about one hair color that tends to add unwanted years: an excessively dark, inky black shade, especially if it's far darker than your original hair color ever was. Going dramatically black might seem like a statement of sophistication, but deep black can be unforgiving. It has a way of emphasizing every fine line in your face, creating a stark contrast between hair and skin. The effect can be especially pronounced if your skin has lightened slightly in undertone. Rather than looking sleek, you might find it harsh or even severe, drawing attention to under-ray circles or slight sallowness in your cheeks. Some women keep black hair for nostalgic reasons. Perhaps it's their natural hue from decades ago. But as we accumulate natural grays and subtle changes in complexion, jet black can become an unintentional spotlight on signs of aging. If you're attached to a darker look, consider softening it a shade or two, or adding subtle highlights that break up the severity. This shift can preserve that sense of drama you love, while lending a more gentle edge that complements mature features. A second shade that can inadvertently make you look older is an overly cool, ashy brown or grayish brown that doesn't coordinate with your current skin tone. It's ironic because a cool ash brown might have been perfect in earlier years when your skin carried more warm undertones or had fewer lines, but now you might find it looks flat or muddy. The problem arises when that cool ash fights against any remaining warmth in your skin or highlights certain reddened areas, such as rosacea or minor discolorations. Instead of achieving a balanced, neutral vibe, you can end up with a tired, drained appearance. If you love brown shades but notice an ashy tone leaving you lifeless, think about pivoting to a warmer or more neutral version. Chocolate browns with gentle gold undertones often bring more vitality to mature skin, bridging the gap between a deeper color and a flattering glow. Even if you prefer not to go too warm, just a hint of caramel or golden undertone can keep your face from looking sallow or washed out, especially in bright sunlight or under indoor lighting. A third shade that can age you surprisingly is a very vibrant or harsh platinum blonde, especially if it's done in a single, uniform color without dimension. Platinum can be tempting if you've embraced a big change, or if you think matching your grays might be simpler, but a hyper-lightened head of hair can sometimes come off as stark. This can be especially problematic if your complexion has begun to lose a bit of that rosy flush from earlier decades. With a rigid platinum color, you risk looking almost monotone. with minimal contrast between your hair and your skin, an effect that can highlight shadows or lines in your face. Additionally, very light platinum blonde can be drying and can damage hair if it's not cared for meticulously, leading to brittle ends that don't look healthy. If you love the brightness, consider adding low lights or a more dimensional technique that softens the appearance. Subtle variations in tone, like a very light honey or butter blonde here and there, can make your hair appear more vibrant and less reminiscent of the artificially bleached look that ages rather than revitalizes. The fourth color that might inadvertently add years is an overly bright, brassy red that no longer complements your changing skin undertones. Red hair can be a showstopper, exuding warmth and personality, but as we accumulate fine lines and changes in facial structure, a loud, artificial-looking red often highlights these features in a less than flattering way. This is especially true if the red veers too orange or fluorescent. At a younger age, you might have pulled off a fiery copper or a bright burgundy for dramatic flair. Yet the same color now could come across as jarring, accenting under-eye shadows or discolorations. If you're a lifelong redhead and want to stay in that color family, it's often more flattering to transition to a muted copper or a deep auburn with subtle highlights. This approach keeps the essence of red, but tones it down into a shade that harmonizes with mature skin. It's a matter of refinement rather than relinquishment, allowing you to keep that fiery sparkle in a more elegant frame. Now that we've touched on 4 colors that can inadvertently age you, let's pivot to 4 that often provide a youthful glow and boost your confidence. An excellent place to begin is with a soft golden brown, particularly if you're used to going darker. If black or dark brown has started to appear harsh on you, moving to a golden brown can be transformative. This shade usually has undertones of honey or caramel that catch the light and reflect warmth back onto your face. When you walk outside, your hair looks sun-kissed rather than flat. If you have natural grays peeking through, you can incorporate them as subtle highlights, or have a stylist weave in lowlights that meld the gray with the brown for a seamlessly dimensional effect. The overall look can be bright, fresh, and easy on the eyes, letting you maintain a certain depth of color without any of the harshness that a cooler or darker shade might impose. Many stylists will recommend keeping the golden tones subdued if you have cooler undertones in your skin. Just enough warmth to offset the silver strands or minimize the appearance of fine lines. This approach can also be low maintenance if you keep the base close to your natural color, so that regrowth isn't too stark. Another color that can illuminate your features is a creamy beige blonde that avoids both brassy yellows and ultra-cool ash. You might think of it as the happy medium of blonde shades, warm enough to add life, cool enough to avoid orange undertones. Beige blonde often works well for women who've gone naturally lighter over the years or have a lot of gray they wish to blend, as the beige tone pairs beautifully with silver or white strands. Because it's neither too light nor too dark, it can be adjusted based on how much dimension you want. Some choose to have a rooted effect, where the top is slightly darker, gently blending into a softer blonde at the ends. This layering of shades can be especially kind to mature faces, offering a multi-dimensional glow that flatters skin undertones. The beauty of a beige blonde approach is that it rarely looks harsh. It's more about reflection than absorption of light, creating a halo of color that feels natural and complementary. A third pick is a rich, warm auburn, for those who adore the idea of red hair but prefer a more understated approach. It delivers the warmth and spirit of red without the neon or brassy punch that can age you. A deeper auburn can be sophisticated, especially when combined with subtle highlights that catch the sun. The key is to keep the red tones more subdued, leaning toward a gentle burgundy or a chestnut base with auburn highlights. This slight infusion of red can bring brightness to your eyes and enhance the healthy flush in your cheeks, all while downplaying any redness you might want to conceal in your complexion. It also works well for covering gray, because the underlying copper or mahogany pigments can blend seamlessly with silver roots, providing an attractive dimension instead of a stark line of regrowth. Just remember that red can fade quickly if not maintained with color-safe shampoos and less frequent washing, so speak to your stylist about a routine that preserves the hue's vibrancy without overdoing it. Finally, a color that consistently provides a graceful transition into later years is the salted caramel or honey-highlighted look. which merges lighter strands among a deeper base. The concept is to keep a moderate brown, dark blonde, or even a lighter auburn base, while weaving in highlights that carry a hint of warm gold or honey. This approach is perfect if you're battling a fair amount of gray. The highlights can serve as a camouflage, blending the gray with the luminous honey hues. The result is hair that seems sun-dappled, giving the illusion of movement and thickness. The warmth in those highlights also supplies a softness around your face, reducing the severity that can sometimes come from a single solid color. Because the highlights break up the uniformity, you appear more youthful, dynamic, and effortlessly put together, even if you're simply going about everyday tasks. This color technique tends to be forgiving with regrowth, so you aren't constantly at the salon worried about an obvious line of demarcation. Many senior women appreciate how these gentle highlights require minimal upkeep, especially if a more natural route is intentionally part of the style. This can be a game changer if you've grown weary of the strict maintenance cycles demanded by older color choices. Of course, none of this is meant to stifle your individuality. If you have your heart set on a certain dramatic style or color, go for it. Personal expression can be empowering. And there's no single rule that says older women must tone everything down. However, if your goal is specifically to avoid looking older than you feel, or if you've noticed your current color draws unwanted attention to lines or dryness, experimenting with these more flattering alternatives can bring new life to your overall look. As you decide, keep in mind that a professional consultation is often worthwhile. Experienced stylists can evaluate your skin tone, your eyes, the condition of your hair, and then suggest a color that ties everything together. They can also guide you on how to maintain the shade without causing breakage or over-processing, which is especially important for mature hair that might already be on the drier side. Your daily styling routine and hair's natural texture also matter. Mature hair can become thinner or more prone to frizz, so you'll want to pick a color and process that doesn't exacerbate those issues. Maybe you switch from a permanent dye to a semi-permanent or demi-permanent formula that's gentler and gradually fades, meaning fewer harsh chemical treatments on your scalp and strands. Or you might incorporate nourishing products like hair masks, leave-in conditioners, or scalp treatments to keep your color vibrant and hair healthy. The synergy between color choice and hair care can yield a head of hair that not only looks youthful, but also feels soft, silky, and well-loved. Another overlooked factor is your haircut. Sometimes the effect of hair color depends largely on the style. A shade that might look unremarkable on long, unlayered hair can suddenly glow when the hair is cut into a modern bob or airy layers that allow dimension to shine through. For senior women, a layered, face-framing style can do wonders alongside a well-chosen shade, creating movement around the cheeks and jawline that complements the color's highlights and lowlights. Conversely, a monotone color on a shapeless cut might underscore any lines or droopiness you're trying to minimize. If you're up for a full transformation, ask your stylist to help you pair your new color with a flattering cut, or at least add some layering to accentuate your best features. No matter what you choose, remember that confidence plays a major role. You can have the most youthful color in the world, yet if you feel uncomfortable or uncertain wearing it, that hesitation can show on your face. Conversely, if you pick a color that truly resonates with how you see yourself, maybe a dignified silver or a fresh honey blonde, and carry it with pride, you'll naturally project a more vibrant aura. The real aim here isn't to chase an illusion of eternal youth, but rather to align your outside appearance with the vitality you still hold within. Small changes in hue can accomplish that, bridging the gap between the grayer hair you might have now and the spirited woman you still are. This synergy between attitude and appearance can yield a delightfully renewed sense of self. If budget is a concern, remember that not all transformations need to happen in a top-tier salon. Many home color kits now offer advanced formulas that are more gentle on mature hair and come in a wide range of flattering multi-tonal shades. If you do choose a home method, be sure to do a strand test first, especially if your hair is partially gray or has old color. That step helps you avoid any unexpected results. You can also incorporate drugstore highlighting kits for subtle highlights around the face. The do-it-yourself route may require a bit of practice, so if you're new to coloring at home, start gradually, maybe lighten or darken by just a shade or two, or apply highlights only in a small front section to see if you like the effect. Over time, you'll gain the experience needed to maintain your chosen color with minimal fuss or harshness. Finally, as you explore your best hair color, keep an eye on the condition of your scalp. A sensitive or itchy scalp might signal that your current product is too harsh. Seek out dyes labeled as ammonia-free or designed for sensitive skin. Sometimes a simple shift in formula can alleviate dryness or irritation, letting you keep your chosen color without sacrificing scalp comfort. Also, consider adding a clarifying rinse or gentle scalp scrub periodically to rid your hair of any leftover styling products, as these can dull your color or make your scalp feel congested. Balanced scalp care sets the stage for your color to truly pop. In essence, navigating the world of hair colors after 60 or 70 can be a bit more complex than it was when you were younger, but it can also be thrilling. Changing your hue can refresh how you see yourself in the mirror, offering a tangible reminder that you're not limited by age. And while certain colors like very dark black, overly cool ash browns, stark platinums, or harsh neon reds might inadvertently highlight lines or sallow your complexion, that doesn't mean the alternative is bland. On the contrary, sophisticated golden browns, soft beige blondes, gentle auburns, and honeycomb looks can illuminate the warmth in your skin and highlight the natural expressiveness of your face. If you're game for a revision, consult a stylist or do some research on shades that complement your current undertones. Maybe bring a friend along for feedback, or look through photos of colors that catch your eye. Even small changes, like adding partial highlights near your face, can yield a big payoff. By embracing the transformation with openness and a sense of fun, you can find a hair color that genuinely makes you feel radiant, no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated. At the end of the day, it's not strictly about looking younger, it's about looking and feeling your best self. If that means sticking with silver or gray because you love the natural grace it exudes, then go for it. But if you've been itching for a change, or you notice your color is fighting your complexion, know that shifting to a more complementary hue can add a spark to your reflection. Remember, color is a tool for self-expression and reinvention, not a rigid label that categorizes you. The nuances of your personality, your laughter, and your warmth remain the real essence of your appeal, and a well-chosen hair color can simply accentuate them. So whether you're stepping out as a subtle honey blonde, a warm chocolate brown, a gentle auburn, or a soft highlight blend, trust your instincts and enjoy the transformation. After all, the best glow-up is the one that aligns with who you are and who you're becoming. Good luck with your hair journey, and don't hesitate to experiment until you find the color that truly brings out your inner radiance.